earlier. It's hard to believe it's already Valentine's Day. So we're speeding through, or it's approaching soon on Sunday. I don't know if I think of Sunday as being the most romantic day of the week. But anyway, that's so we'll just decide it's going to be romantic. It will be this year. So we have Sharon Bates. I'll let Sharon tell you a little bit more about herself, but my goodness, so Sharon helps a lot with Salt Lake Thrive events. And one of the many things I admire about Sharon is she can cook and be charming at the same time. I have to cook. I can't talk to anyone because I get totally lost and what have you. So Sharon has the ability to cook and do things within a schedule, and everything comes together beautifully. But she can chat with folks and respond to questions and, like I say, be charming all at the same time. So I'm so grateful that I think this is her third or fourth event for Salt Lake Thrive. And so hopefully we'll keep doing this. If y'all have any suggestions to Salt Lake Thrive or want to put them in the chat, the kind of cooking demos you would like to see. I think one we did before was a 5-ingredient cooking demo. And that was popular. And like I said, mentioned earlier, I'm not a good cook. And I like recipes. I like simple, super easy recipes. I think a lot of people do. I'm not someone who wants to spend hours in the kitchen. So that appeals to me, but I'd be interested for those who care to share, or you can email later Salt Lake Thrive, what kind of cooking demos you would be interested in seeing in the future. So great, Sharon. So we're getting folks joining us. So you might want to spend a minute or two on your background, and so folks know a little bit more about you, and then we'll launch into the cooking demo.
Okay, well, thank you all for being here. Everyone from all over. I'm very pleased to be able to cook for somebody in New York. And usually when we do these cooking demos, you can cook alongside with me. But tonight we're doing a cooking demo where you get to watch, and then we'll send you the ingredients, we'll send you the recording, and you can make modifications, whatever you need to make. Maybe your loved one doesn't like garbanzo beans, so you'll do croutons on the Caesar salad. Or maybe your loved one doesn't like pesto and you do red sauce, or you do another sauce. It's all up to you. And but we've created this menu. I've created this menu with you in mind to make it foolproof, delicious, colorful, and romantic. And usually how I start off my cooking demos is I ask everybody to get yourself a glass of water because every time I cook, the first thing I do is I drink a big glass of water because I do not drink enough water. So get yourself a glass of water, and I will get mine. I actually had it here ready to go. Look at this big, beautiful glass. It's from a beer company, Stone Brewery in San Diego. Okay, cheers. Get your water. Drink.
We have red water here.
Cheers. That works as well. So this is the Valentine's Day dinner demo. So that's certainly appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon will no red wine for Sharon while she's doing the demo. Water only.
I'll take much longer than I'm supposed to. Okay. All right. So I'll give you a quick tour of my kitchen, just so you don't feel like you're boxed into one little screen. This is my beautiful kitchen where I work my masterpieces. I have my oven, stove. This is the stand that will be my cameraman. Latte machine, breakfast bar. This is how I set it up. And for your Valentine's dinner, I would like for you guys to have fun setting up your table as well. I have here a little kind of fancy restaurant meets pandemic dishes set up here. You have your salad fork, your main course fork, your spoon for your soup. Always get a candle. I have this cute little candle. If you have a bigger one, great. Art, you can throw some art on there. My little 4-year-old made this heart and these hearts, and just have fun making it romantic. And then remember to set up a good music station while you're cooking and while you're eating. I think Amazon has a Valentines station. Now you can read my palm. Hold on. All right.
I see a long, healthy, and vegan life, Sharon.
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. I wanted to share with you that I myself have started my vegan journey many, many years ago. When I was little, teenager and younger, I was eating double cheeseburger combos from McDonald's. I ate double everything. I was eating everything. Double Western bacon cheeseburgers from Carl's Jr. with fried zucchini and crisp cut fries and all the sauces to dip in. And oh man, I used to really eat horribly. At school for lunch, I'd have nachos with cheese and salsa. And for breakfast, or nutrition, they would call it, at school, I had coffee cake. And it was just, if my mom was not home cooking for me, I think I would be in worse shape. You know, I'm not in bad shape now, don't get me wrong, but I would just be in terrible shape. I'd probably have all kinds of things, ailments going on. When I was about 18, I was walking along the 3rd Street Promenade. I grew up in Los Angeles, and I saw this video in the corner of my eye of a pig tumbling in this tumbler that apparently helps to peel the hair off of their body. And that's all I saw. I didn't walk up to these people that were showing the video. I didn't do anything, but it definitely planted a seed. Like, you know, my meat is coming from somewhere. And so I drastically changed my eating habits as far as meat intake. And I decided at that point that I was only going to eat happy animals, animals that were treated well. And that was around the time that Whole Foods came and had, you know, grass-fed beef and all those things. And I was like, I'm in heaven. I can buy from Whole Foods. And that's how I started. So when I would eat out, I wouldn't eat meat because I knew that it was low quality meat and the animals weren't treated well, most likely, unless it's mentioned in the menu that it comes from some fancy ranch. So I really learned how to maneuver around eating meat at restaurants. So yeah, here I am 20 years later. And a year and a half ago, I finally decided to just cut all the meat. I finally decided to do that, and I loved it. I mean, when I sit down to eat, my meals are so vibrant and so beautiful that I just like get all buzzy inside. And when I'm cooking, or when I go get my CSA bag, that's community supported agriculture, and I get like beets and or turnips or something that I don't usually get. I've learned all these new, you know, a lot of root vegetables like celery root, some greens, you know, and just all kinds of, broccoli rabe. So bitter, but I'll work with it. And I figured it out, and, you know, I just love the food now that I eat. And I love to preach. I love to preach to people, like, go plant-based, and I love holding potlucks. So it's very important to me that you guys are here, because I can't do my potlucks anymore. But yeah, so let's get started.
We're your potluck. And it's always so interesting here. You know, some people are on the transition, and in Salt Lake Thrive, you know, I said everyone is welcome wherever they are on the continuum, you know, just interested in learning more about plant-based nutrition, or recipes and what have you. And as we've discussed, even, there are a lot of vegans who aren't eating, a lot of vegans eat mostly vegan junk foods. That's one thing we try to do in the cooking demos to show it's really easy to have healthy, not that there's anything wrong with the occasional, I do it as well, Beyond Burger or something like that, but how to eat primarily a healthy diet. And someone had posted in the chat, doesn't look like it is being recorded. I am recording.
Yeah, I see it. I see the recording on the
right.
corner,
Okay.
right corner.
I'm the queen of worrying, so I've been looking at the recording sign. But anyway, so we should be recording. That's what my computer is telling me. So anyway, sorry for the interruption, Sharon. We'll let you.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so there's going to be a few things that you need to prep, because unless you want this to be like a 3-hour debacle, you can make yourself, save yourself a lot of time by prepping the day before. And that's why I love that Valentine's Day is on a Sunday. So I'm going to step over here. Let's see. So I toasted so for the Caesar salad, okay, this is the menu if you don't know. It's, the starter is a Caesar salad with crispy garbanzo croutons. And then, and it's also gonna have these pumpkin seeds toasted. And then it's gonna be a carrot ginger soup with a coconut milk garnish. And then the main course is gonna be a beautiful purple sweet potato, or also known as Japanese sweet potato, gnocchi with a awesome pesto sauce that has like changed my life. And then a raspberry love tart for dessert. And this is fun because you can be creative. I'll show you in a minute. But yes, you're gonna wanna toast your garbanzo seeds. And these are gonna be roasted in the oven. These you can toast in a pan, the pumpkin seeds. And then you're gonna make the Caesar dressing. And it's good if you make this ahead of time, because when it sits in the fridge for a couple days, it actually improves the flavor. I really like it a lot. So this dressing has tahini, it has flaxseed. I put a little flaxseed because it gives it, this is kind of funny, but flaxseed, when you grind it, it has a little bit of a fishy smell. I don't know, Harriet, if you've ever experienced that, but yeah, so I added it to this Caesar dressing, and it gives it a nice flavor. And then
fragrance.
Yes, so you'll get that recipe. And then about an hour before I started with you guys, I made the pie so that it can cool off. Since I had an hour to present, I went ahead and made the pie. So it's a tart. You can actually form it any way that you want to. I like to do it like kind of as a pie tart. And it has the pear, raspberry, lemon, it has cinnamon. It's pretty simple recipe. And then the crust is the almond flour crust. And you can turn that into a gluten-free. It does have whole wheat flour. When I use flour, I usually use whole wheat. And if I can find it, I'll get spelt whole wheat, because that's an ancient whole wheat. And I feel like it's probably better for my body to know how to digest it. Then, so yeah, so I started. So now we're gonna start on the sauce for the pie. And I made it so that you can follow along with the video. All right, that was hot. The night of. This would be the order that you'd want to do things in.
So, people have started a few hours before dinner, right, Sharon? You were saying you want to plan.
Yeah, you want to start prepping about an hour. Let's see. So you're gonna need an hour to do what I'm doing, and then have dinner ready, and then you're gonna need an hour before that to work on the pie and chop your veggies, things like that. And in the pie, there's 1 cup of these raspberries, these frozen raspberries, and then the remaining raspberries go into the sauce. So you're gonna put in a 1/4 cup of water, and then put in your raspberries. These are still a bit frozen, but that's okay, they'll defrost pretty quickly. And then, instead of using sugar in my recipes, I use maple syrup. And if you want to do what do you call it? If you're doing a cup of sugar, then you want to do 3/4 cup of maple syrup, because maple syrup is actually sweeter than sugar, but it has all these great vitamins and minerals in it, real maple syrup. And you're gonna, I'm gonna use, so it called for a 1/4 cup of sugar. So I used a 1/4 cup and then just filled it 3/4 the way to kind of match. And you can do this with any baking. I do it with all my baking. Even in the crust, there was maple syrup, not sugar. It's just a better way to do it for me. Then you're gonna do, this is what makes the sauce awesome. It's almond extract, and it has such a beautiful, beautiful flavor. So you're gonna put 3/4 teaspoon. And again, you'll get the recipes via email. Okay, so we'll just let that boil, and this is the sauce. There's no blending or anything. You just spoon this over the tart when you're ready, and we'll do that at the end.
So Sharon, we had a question. Somebody's wondering, what does, so for a diabetic person, what kind of sugar do you suggest? So what I would, because we're not doctors, what I would suggest, there are some great resources out there, including nutritionfacts.org, and I'll put this in the chat, with Dr.
Yes.
Greger, who wrote a great book, best-selling, How Not to Die. So once again, nutritionfacts.org with Dr. Michael Greger. I would suggest also the website for Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, PCRM.org. So right off the top of my head, also Center for Nutrition Studies. So off the top of my head, and I'll put those in the chat. So some good resources for a lot of research, because I know people with diabetes certainly have some special considerations. And I'll try to do a little research. There are a couple of gentlemen, Cyrus, their names are escaping me, but they do a lot of, they have a book on they're both diabetics, and do a lot of amazing online workshops. So I'll look for that. But there are some great resources out there for folks who are looking for, replacements for sugar and other ingredients for folks who have diabetes. So I'll start putting that in the chat.
Somebody said, "You're an awesome resource, Harriet." Okay, I've switched out the sauce for the soup that we're gonna start on. I've already started to saute the onions, and it's a cup of onion chopped. This is all gonna be blended at the end. So the onions, I chop them small so that it cooks faster. And then the carrots I'll chop small, but like the garlic and the ginger, you can put it in there sliced. You don't need to, mince it or whatever. And the way that I like to saute my vegetables, I love this. I learned this from Chef AJ, who uses no oil, no sugar, no salt, and she will use dates in her recipes. That's another kind of way to get around, using sugar, but getting it to sweeten up. So the way you do this is you just put in a couple tablespoons of water instead of oil, and it works just the same. You wouldn't believe it. It's the simplest thing, and it's so much better for you, I would say. That's what Chef AJ says. You can saute anything this way. Okay, so we're gonna start getting these a little more browned. They've probably already cooked about 5 minutes, so they probably need another 4 or 5. Okay, and then I have water here boiling for the gnocchi. The gnocchi, you make it kind of like a pretzel or bagels. You throw it in the boiling water without baking soda. And it gives it a nice crust after you bake it in the oven again, or bake it in the oven. Okay, so got that water boiling, got my onion sauteing. Okay, so I'll take you over here.
So
And here we're gonna make.
Oh, sorry, Sharon. I just put in the chat, nutritionfacts.org, PCRM for Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and Cirrus Kambata and Robbie Barbero. So they do a lot of work. I think they were both born with type 1 diabetes. So they do a lot of work in that area.
Okay, so I've got these sweet potatoes already roasted. That would be another thing that you'll need to prep. And I'll give you that. It's basically 350 degrees for 1 hour. Cook these for 1 hour. And they're this beautiful purple color. So you'll just, I love keeping the peel because that's where the nutrients are, but for this recipe, you don't want it to be, you want it to be light and fluffy, not mealy. So that's why I'm peeling it.
And for those of you who have a dog, see if your dog likes sweet potato peels. Mine.
Or chicken, yes, or chickens. We'll take those scraps to the chickens next door. We treat those chickens like royalty. I mean, we've served them on a silver platter, literally. So cute. Okay. Gnocchi's so fun to make. I was a little nervous the first time I made it, like, oh, how's this gonna be? But it's actually super easy. It's like making a mashed potato, but with flour. Okay, just a minute, I'm gonna stir the onions. Add a little more water. Okay. Then you have your purple potato. I like to mash. I have a masher, but it's kind of wide, and one of these days I want a ricer so I can make amazing mashed potatoes. Mash them. You're gonna do a half a cup of almond milk or soy milk, unsweetened, plain. This is the brand I usually get. I get a big, huge one because I use it a lot. Value size.
You and I use the same soy milk, Sharon.
Yeah.
Brand.
My son recently, you know, when I go into the grocery store, I usually ask him if he would like anything. He likes coconut water, so he usually will ask me to get that. This time he asked me to get oat milk, and I was like, oh, okay. So I got him oat milk, and I got that brand Oatly, and didn't realize they had a Super Bowl commercial, and was, you know, they were flying off the shelves. But they had a light and they had a full fat, and I'm always like full fat kind of person. I like thick, rich flavor. So I got the full fat. It's delicious, and it's a little sweet. I made a hot chocolate today with it, and I didn't even add any sweetness to it. It was good. And it's not sweetened. It's just naturally from the oats. Okay, so you mash that up. Then you add 1.5 cups of flour. This is a whole wheat flour, buffalo, I believe. It's amazing all the different styles of, or different breeds of flour here. Okay. So you're gonna add that gradually. You don't want to end up with big lumps. So big lumps of flour in your gnocchi. So just get it mixed in there, and then.
Well, I know when I went 100% plant-based, gnocchi was one of the many, many dishes I thought I would, along with risotto, I thought that was I wouldn't be doing anymore, because the risotto and most of the, Italian dishes and what have you have a lot of cream and a lot of butter and what have you. Good to know that you can still have delicious gnocchi for those if you decide, or a delicious plant-based gnocchi.
Yeah. Okay, and this also has, to give it a little flavor, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. It's not going to taste super cheesy or anything. It's just going to have this nice flavor going on. And then I don't put salt, but you can add 1/2 teaspoon of salt to this. Okay. Just like any kind of a dough, what you're looking for is for it to start to turn into something that is not mushy, not sticky.
So what's a good test, Sharon? Like the spoon or fork stands up in the middle and eyeball it, or
no, you're gonna get hands on with it, and you'll feel whether it starts to stick to your skin or not. I'm just getting the flour mixed in here, but soon I'm gonna start handling this with my hands. Okay, so now it's starting to get a little heavy with the fork and get kind of doughy.
Is it okay to unmute and ask a question about gluten-free flour?
Yeah, I think so. What is your question?
What's gluten-free flour? What are you using there for that one?
Oh, this is a whole wheat. So I'm not doing gluten-free, but it can easily be substituted with gluten-free flour. I know out there they have, like you could use a rice flour, oat flour. Some companies like Bob's Red Mill will have like a combination flour that, like they'll have you use for pizza dough or something like that. So it's up to you.
Chickpea considered gluten-free?
Yes, for sure.
I think Bob's Red Mill, they do have a gluten flour for folks who are looking at that. They seem to have a flour for just about everyone and everything.
Yeah. Okay, and then.
This is so awesome.
Yay!
Go back on mute, but it's.
Sharon, tell me this. So we know a romantic Valentine's Day dinner is traditionally for 2, but how many is this designed to serve for 2 people? Is this a 2-serving menu, 2-person?
But yeah, 2 with plenty of leftovers, I'd say. Yeah. Like you could probably eat, you could probably feed 4 people with the gnocchi, because with a 4-course meal, you don't want to be having these big heavy plates. You want to have a light, plate. You want to have, instead of like going to a restaurant and ordering a gnocchi that has like 15 gnocchis, you're going to do more like 8, so that you're not full for dessert. And you can have a big slice of beautiful raspberry tart, or I'm also going to include, if like raspberry tart's not your thing, I'm going to include a chocolate pudding, like a chocolate, like a chocolate cream, beautiful little cup of chocolate mousse kind of a thing. So I don't know what it's called, but I'll send it to you. I found it. It's going to be the other dessert that I did, but I feel like people just receive so much chocolate for Valentine's Day.
Some might do both.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. You know, I certainly, eating this way, I eat as much as I want. You know, I just eat and eat and eat. And you saw me. I'm not having any weight issues. Okay. Here we go. So it's nice and doughy. I've got some on my hands. And now we're going to let this rest for 15 minutes. And all the flour is going to soak up, and potato, all the flavors are going to just kind of start to melt together. Let me wash my hands. Then I'll go back to the soup. And then we'll work on the pesto. Okay. So, just so you don't miss me washing my hands.
Well, we're being told that washing our hands is very important, Sharon. So I appreciate you demonstrating good hygiene.
Yes.
These days, I don't know, with the variants.
Yes. But what is it, 20 seconds with warm water and soap? At least 20 seconds. Have a little ditty or something like that.
I'm sorry, I almost forgot we were in the pandemic, but
Yeah.
Well, good hygiene is always a good idea. Pre-pandemic, during pandemic, post-pandemic.
So the sauce is bubbling. I have it on a low heat, very low heat, my smallest burner. And I'm gonna let it boil. Actually, no, it'll be good. I can turn it off right now. And then, so we have the onions going and they're done. Now we'll throw in the ginger and the garlic. So I've smashed these garlic cloves just to let the flavor out a bit. There you go. And then the ginger is sliced. I keep the peel on. You know, it's organic, so I'm not worried about pesticides or anything. And that's going to be a tablespoon and a half. One of my favorite tools that I have, which I'll show you, is my zester. And I would have, if I needed to zest or get it to be teeny tiny for this, I would use this. And I love it because the cover then flips over to be the holder. And then it, you know, it goes on. This is a Good Cook. It's called Good Cook.
Oh, that's so clever. I'm sorry.
I love it. Yeah, this is my favorite, one of my favorite tools. Last time, in my last demonstration, I talked about my can opener that opens cans to the top, from the top, so that it doesn't leave any sharp pieces. Because my son, you know, I just didn't want him to reach into the recycle bin and just get a big gash.
Maybe someday turn to your own line of cooking tools.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've got the garlic in there. I should have thrown this in as I was mixing the gnocchi a little bit, because this garlic needs to cook. But we'll get started on the pesto and then it'll be fine. Okay, how are we doing on time? Okay, so 20 minutes. Ah!
Well, we didn't start right. I'm hoping, I think I set this event from 6 to 7:30. So.
Oh, okay. No,
I mean, And we said the original Eventbrite posting that if I included some links to like Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn and a few others talking about the relationship between nutrition and plant health. So we'll see if anyone is interested in chatting about that.
Okay, great.
Let us send us an hour and a half, Sharon. So we're good.
Yeah, well, I'm shooting for an hour, and then we'll have a lot of time to chat if we need to. Okay, so for this pesto, we are gonna use a half a cup of frozen peas defrosted. Isn't that amazing? Protein all through this meal. You're gonna use, what was this? This was a 1/4 of a cup pine nuts, also prepped the day before or a couple of days before. Just toss it into a pan, the raw pine nuts, and then just toss them until they're nicely toasted. We're gonna do a water to this. A whole avocado.
Angle before on the camera.
Instead of using oil, we use avocado, the whole fruit. And I don't know if you've ever seen the way sushi chefs cut their avocados, but I love the way they do it. And then they twist, and then you get this beautiful half, and then you stick the knife in, pop, and then you twist that, and that gets the seed out. And I always give the talk about the avocados, right, Harriet?
Yes, you do, but it's great information.
When you buy an avocado,
follow.
Yeah, no, when I buy an avocado, they're green, like this. And then I leave them out in my basket for a couple of days. And then you'll notice that they'll get dark. And then you throw them in the fridge at that point, and they'll be good for like 2 weeks. I'll buy 8 avocados at a time that way.
So you put them in the refrigerator just about when they start to get ripe, start to feel a little squishy?
You don't even have to feel them. It's just when they turn dark and there's no green.
So go by color.
That's the problem, is when you buy the dark ones, people have been squishing them, and then you buy it and you open it, it's like bruised and discolored. All right, and then 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And this lemon's so huge, I have to use my orange squeezer for it.
The jumbo lemon.
Yes.
Sharon, I've gotten I've gotten very lazy recently. I've started to use jars of chopped garlic and ginger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay.
It's just a half a backup, but
whatever you have time for. Chef AJ is like the Trader Joe's queen. She's always praising about their already chopped veggies.
It does make a big difference.
Yeah, and she just tosses the whole bag in. Yeah, she is my cooking demo idol. So if you get a chance, search Chef AJ. She's got YouTube videos. One of my favorite videos is what she eats in a week and how she preps it. It's very nice. Okay, and then it calls for a 3/4 cup Parmesan cheese. It's a vegan Parmesan cheese, and I make it with cashews. If you look up Minimalist Baker, she's also got amazing recipes. She has a vegan Parmesan cheese. I just put the ingredients here, and then it's going to blend anyway. So it's got cashews, salt, garlic powder, and nutritional yeast. And then a 1/4 cup of water, 1/4 cup and 2 tablespoons. Then the star, look at this beautiful basket. This makes me so happy. This is going to be the romaine. And then here's the beautiful basil. Just a handful You can't really go wrong. There we go.
Minimalist Baker is a great resource. In fact, that's what we're using for our stir fry recipe tonight.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Yeah. No, she's
Great
got
resource.
great stuff. I'm also a big fan of, I've been starting to do more Nora Cooks recipes. Nora Cooks. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I'm, before I blend this, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to the carrot soup.
When you have a moment, Sharon, someone's wondering what brand is your can opener?
Oh, I'll tell you. It is Kuhn Rikon. Kuhn Rikon. And it's got this little beak here that removes, push this button and it removes the top.
Color.
I love it. Oh yeah, the garlic goes in the pesto. I almost forgot. Got a little apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna chop this garlic just a bit because I don't completely trust that it will find its way to puree. Okay. Here we go. So I have a Blendtec blender that I love. And this is the small, like, almost like a baby food one, but it's for like sauces and small desserts. I do ice cream in here sometimes with frozen banana and cacao powder, splash of vanilla.
Not Sharon, I recently did a, to me, it's a really good recipe for oil-free vegan butter, but my big Vitamix, it's kind of hard to get it, process it because it's just too big of a container. So I'm in the market for something that will do small amounts as far as sauces. So I might have to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it. I got it for baby food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add, it says 2 to 3 cups of vegetable broth for the soup. I'm going to do 3 cups because I want it on the watery side, on the thin side, and I want to be able to have leftovers. So I'm going to do 3 cups. Usually in these it's about 4 cups, maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to just dump it in, get it going. That should be good. Okay, I'm gonna blend. I'll mute myself.
I'll make blender noises while she's blending. I'll mute.
A virtual blender.
Blah, 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 blah. I think that's a scene from A Christmas Vacation.
Great.
This is such a cool thing you're doing, Harriet. And
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think you've joined us. This is maybe the second of anyway. You've been at some of our other events, but yes, it's fun to do. And if people are interested, as long as people are interested, we'll keep on doing them. So I know there are a lot of cooking demos out there. So it's just trying to find that niche, that maybe other cooking demo folks aren't doing. But I really appreciate your support.
Yeah, did you see what Rip Elselston's doing for Valentines?
I have not. What is he doing?
He sent out is $190 or $170.
It's actually 200 now.
Okay, it's 200.
190.
So they sent out a box of food and everybody makes it together.
Oh,
So
It's a Valentine's special.
Yeah.
so it's like it's prepackaged, so you get to cook together, and it all comes in the box. You don't have to go shopping, and
Yeah.
They send out the recipe in the morning, then there's a Q&A at 2 o'clock, that's on the 13th, and then you can cook whenever. But this is really nice, specifically being in Salt Lake and then knowing that you're from Salt Lake, and just, you know, it's so important to, once you go plant-based, to just get a little more information on what you can do and making it interesting and fun for your family. So it's really nice to learn new recipes.
Well, you know, I really appreciate that, because I think, you know, when folks, whether it's for the animals or for the planet or for their health, but my goodness, you know, we're all raised pretty much on a animal-centric or meat-centric diet. What am I going to eat? So I think that could be a big barrier. And so just helping folks be aware. There are so many resources, like Sharon's mentioned, Minimalist Baker, Nora Cooks, The Vegan 8, Shane and Simple. And folks, you know, you don't need really exotic ingredients, what have you. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. So just really making it accessible for folks and making it easy. So that's a big goal for Salt Lake Thrive. It's not enough, I don't think, to say go plant-based for whatever reason. You have to help folks. And then also providing a sense of community as well, because you know, a lot of people don't have social support, or they may get a lot of pushback from their family or friends or what have you. So having other folks they can connect with.
Yeah, thank you again.
One of these days, hopefully later this year, we'll be able to get back in person, but I think we will continue with online events, as I mentioned earlier, because even folks in the Salt Lake area, they, you know, things come up and you can't always attend in person. So it's something we'll continue doing, and hopefully Sharon will be kind enough to continue doing her great cooking demos for us. Like I say, I can't cook and talk at the same time. So
Yeah.
not a talent I have, but we're fortunate that some people do, like Sharon.
Yay.
You're back.
Yes, so I'm working on the carrots for the soup. I'm just chopping them up nice and thin because we want them to cook quickly. It's going to be 2 heaping cups while the broth comes to a boil. My husband got me these awesome kamikoto knives. These are like sushi chef knives, or I don't know. They're amazing. They're so sharp, and they come with a whetstone. It's kind of a pain in the butt to sharpen them, but I love this big fatty because I get all my veggies with it.
Yes, nice being able to slice several carrots at the same time.
Yes. Oh, and you know, another person that I love watching online, and she teaches how to cut and everything, is Chef Cynthia Luis.
I have not heard of her.
Yeah, she's in Bali, but she has an Australian accent. And she's funny because sometimes she's vulgar, you know, she's cussing in her in her demos, and she just gets so excited and passionate about it. It's hilarious. I did a course with Food Revolution Network on plant-based eating because I really wanted to learn more about it. So when I talk to people, you know, I can explain more about, you know, how I wouldn't go as far to say I'm a nutritionist or anything like that. That's not the kind of certificate it is, but it just gives me the knowledge and the confidence, knowing I'm doing the right thing for my body. Okay, 2 heaping cups. I could have chopped these beforehand, but then they get brown, they oxidize. Didn't want it to look yucky. Okay, and then this is done. Salt and pepper if you'd like. I'll put a little salt and pepper. The vegetable broth usually has plenty of salt. And then you just let that boil for 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna get back to the gnocchi now. And turn the flame up on this.
Sharon.
I'm sorry?
I like your cutting board as well.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Thank you. It's bamboo. I've had it forever. Okay. Get you back to the gnocchi. This is the fun part where you get to feel like you're a baker. Like you're a professional. I have what is this called again? Like a pastry knife, I think.
Uh-huh.
My husband got on the bandwagon of the pandemic sourdough cooking, and he had that. And I was like, oh, that'll work perfectly for the gnocchi. So you're gonna wanna cut it into 4 equal parts. And then flour your surface and roll it out. This is the rewarding part because, well, not this, but when you start cutting it, because then you start to see the shape, those like pillowy shapes. So you're gonna roll it out they're gonna puff up in the oven. So roll it out to about like as close to a ½ inch you can go without breaking it. There we go. Play-Doh time. Okay. Then you just chop it into 1 inch, whatever size you want. I like to do like 1 inch. Chop, chop.
That almost looks too easy, Sharon.
I know.
And fun.
It's so fun. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm a chef. Like, you know, I can make pasta. So there you go, pillows. And then this is also really hilarious is you just put these in water. You put these in the water. And you know they're done when they're floating. It's like, what?
You put them in hot water. It looks like some steam's coming up.
Oh yeah. So I just dropped them in the boiling water.
Okay.
And then you know they're done when they're floating. So now you can work on the next batch. A little more flour. Roll it out.
So from each of those, you're going to get about, look like 8 to 10 gnocchi, Sharon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, about that. Let's see. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
More.
7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So you've already got one, you know, two dishes worth in your first batch.
Yeah, I love the purple.
Oh, isn't it beautiful? Okay. I'm handling these a little rough. So they might lose a little bit of their pillow shape. I'm gonna wait for the other ones to start floating actually. So I'll put this batch to the side and then start on the next one.
All this from the humble potato.
Yeah. My husband he likes to read books on World War and he likes history. So he has this book called 1491 and 1493 about the time, that Columbus came and what the Americas went through before and after. And one of the things that was mentioned in that book was that people can get all the nutrients they need to survive from a sweet potato.
I think Okinawa is one of the blue zones. Dan Buettner, don't know how many folks are familiar with Buettner, Buettner, one or two T's. But anyway, he wrote the book, The Blue Zones. And I think it's 5 places around the globe where people are particularly long-lived and not only long lives, but very healthy. And one of those is Okinawa, where I think a main staple of the diet is the sweet potato.
Great.
So interesting book, The Blue Zones.
And you know, if gnocchi's not your thing, the other option that you can do is to use a spiralizer and make noodles from the raw sweet potato. And then you don't even have to bother with the flour and doing all this, even though this is romantic. You know, if I saw somebody slaving away for me this way, I'd be impressed.
Well, maybe
Okay,
people could get their partners to cook with them. Sharon, someone's wondering if the dough will keep if stored in the fridge, or do you have to cook it all at once?
You know, I don't know, but I imagine it'd be okay, like any dough. Okay, so half of them are floating. Let me just tap them, because sometimes they gather. They want to have a meeting at the bottom of the pan. Okay, now they're all floating. So this is when you'll get actually not a wooden spoon, but if you have a slotted spoon, this is a good one. And then what you'll do, can you see them? Okay, great. I'm gonna move this over to get you the. So now they're floating. I'm gonna use, you could grease your pan. I'm gonna use parchment paper just to absolutely make it oil-free. I could use no parchment paper, no oil, but then I kind of struggle pulling them off. I have to like kind of scrape them off. It's not a big deal, but I didn't think it was gonna look very sexy of me to have at it with the pan in front of you guys. Okay.
Would it work, Sharon? Also, someone's wondering to use a silicone baking mat.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
One of my favorite tools.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, but Chef AJ definitely talks about it. Okay, so we have the gnocchi on the pan, and we can, you know, eventually fill this up. I'll throw this in the oven right now, and then I can put it on the other one. I have another pan that we can put the rest on. And that's gonna go in the oven at 400 for 15 minutes. Okay, so I'll throw these other gnocchis in.
One reason I'm glad, Sharon, you included potatoes in this recipe, because like, and I used to think that, I think in Western culture, and US, maybe Canada as well, it's like carbs are bad. If you want to lose weight or what have you, stay away from carbs. So now learning as part of, you know, getting involved in Salt Lake Thrive and what have you, and Snow, actually unprocessed carbs like potatoes and some of the other plant foods are actually very helpful and nutrient dense. And in fact, Dr. John McDougall and Chef AJ, whom you've mentioned several times, they eat potatoes and eat rice, so eat carbs, and it's the donuts and the Twinkies and the Hostess cupcakes and all the processed crackers. Those are the carbs that we need to be avoiding. But yeah, just cook a potato, and you got a lot of different ways you can make it delicious, but without putting the butter and the salt and the oil and the animal-based sour cream. That's where carbs got their bad reputation, or potatoes got their bad reputation, is from what people were putting on top of the poor potatoes. But potatoes of themselves can be certainly very important part of a healthy plant-rich diet, and then also can help with weight loss and management as well. So eat potatoes.
Yes,
They're cheap.
I just tried, or what?
They're cheap.
Yeah. I just try to avoid like the white sugar, white flour, anything that's been kind of stripped of its shell. What I remember reading in kind of my research of like, you know, am I doing this right? When we use whole wheat, because it has the husk included, so what I read was that my body's able to digest it much better, because the husk like helps to carry information to tell my body how to digest it. So that's why I always try to stick to the whole wheats and the brown rices and things like that. Okay. So I'm going to start to prep the salad here for you. And we're about 5 minutes past. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get those plates from the dining room.
So how many people, do most folks plan on actually cooking this for Valentine's Day dinner? How many folks think this will actually be your Valentine's Day dinner? Raise your hand or respond to the chat. Or
I think we're just going to watch the replay video and call it good.
Well, we'll definitely try to make it. I'm excited about the gnocchi. I've never made those myself. My mom used to make them, but it's really nice to follow this and, you know, try it with sweet potatoes.
yeah, I haven't, thank you for that. I haven't made gnocchi either, but Sharon made it look so simple. I may have to, and especially, I think she was right, you should be able to refrigerate the dough for a day or so, or a few days. So it makes it really convenient. And people are saying, yes, this will be the route. That's exciting.
Also excited about to try the soup, and I thought it was interesting to see how the ginger was put in without peeling it. You know, I've tried that before, but that was not a nice reminder that if it's organic, you can do it. You don't have to time peeling ginger.
It would be I might be tempted to try raw ginger again if I didn't think I had to peel it every time. But I use a microplane after I peeled it. I use a microplane, but yeah, a lot of the things I used to peel, I don't peel anymore, like apples or beets when I roast them and that type of thing. Just scrub them really well and you're good.
Okay, gnocchi's starting to out here. Okay, so this is how you'll prepare your salad. We have a couple leaves of romaine. And again, you do it how you like. I think when I go to a restaurant and I get my Caesar salad like this, I kind of like it. So we'll have the leaves of romaine. Let me grab the toppings. And super simple. Just, actually, these gnocchis are calling my name. Hold on just a moment. So here I'll do it without the parchment.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned, Sharon, that you don't peel ginger. Next time I try, you're going to save me a lot of time. You know, I think that would make a lot. I mentioned I use the microplane to do like minced ginger and what have you. So if I don't have to peel it, like I say, the less I have to do, the happier I am.
Yeah. And if you have a little leftover, ginger tea is delicious. Okay. I spooned it onto you've seen that already. I'm going to put that in the oven. We have about 8 minutes left for the first batch. I set a timer. I think I have like at least 4 timers in my kitchen. 1 on the oven, 1 on the microwave, 2 on the refrigerator. Okay. You could also do this carrot ginger soup in an Instapot. I didn't want to assume that people have an Instapot, but man, if you're going plant-based, or if you are plant-based, I would highly suggest or recommend that you invest in an Instapot and a Blendtec or a Vitamix, one of those high-powered blenders. And I didn't get to show you, here's the sauce after blending. And you saw me turning this because that's kind of what you need to do with this type of it's in the instructions to turn this, which helps the ingredients move around more. Okay, here we go. Back to the Caesar salad. Okay, so I've already prepped the dressing. I've dipped into it already. So good. You can get, I'm choosing a knife because I feel like it'll drip better. You might want to pull it out too when you start cooking, because when it's in the refrigerator, it gets a little hard, but now it's nice and creamy. And then you just want to kind of slather it on a little, drizzle it on, I mean. It could be a little more watery, but this will work. It'll settle, and it'll be fine. Okay, you could add water to thin it if you want to.
Just give you a quick heads up, I may have put a time of an hour and a half, so that which we may go past that, but so we're at 7:10. So we may get off at 7:30. So not to rush you, but just give you just in case.
Okay, great. These garbanzo beans were roasted and then just seasoned with salt and chili powder. Kind of, I thought chili powder, that's interesting, but it actually makes a nice flavor for the salad. And then, so you'll sprinkle these on. These will be your croutons. I'm a crouton freak, so I'm gonna put a lot. Then, oh man, the toasted pumpkin seeds. I don't know what it is. It just adds like this crazy flavor. I mean, it's so delicious. So there's your beautiful Caesar salad that you'll eat with a fork and a knife.
Somebody wants to know, Sharon, are those from a can or those bulk garbanzo beans that you cooked in your Instant Pot?
Exactly. I use my Instapot. I try to avoid canned goods as much as possible because no matter what, I do believe that whether BPA free or not, something's leaching into my food. So I just use them as like emergency. But yeah, no, I cook these in my Instapot, and I cook a bunch at the same time, and then I make different recipes. Hummus, my son loves hummus with his veggies. All right.
Sharon,
so,
I have a question. How long did you put it? How long did you put it in the Instant Pot? The garbanzos.
When?
How long?
Oh, there's a beans button, and you just press that. But you know, I soak them overnight with like a pinch of baking soda, because I did research on, you know, how to soak my beans and grains before I cook them. So that's what I found out was the best for garbanzo beans. So it's like soak them in an acid when it's like a kidney bean style, and then the garbanzo beans, they get the baking soda, like a pinch of baking soda in 2 cups of dried garbanzo beans.
And what is
okay, and then, so the soup, at the end, you'll let it cool off, and then you'll blend it, not cool off too much, but you just don't want to blend it when it's still bubbling. And this is what it'll look like. It's a little plain Jane this way. So you can garnish with anything you'd like. Parsley, or they even recommended pesto, but I didn't want to overdo it on the pesto. What I am going to do is garnish it with a little coconut fat or coconut milk. And this is a little thick right now, but in a warm soup, it will melt. And you just drop it in. coconut fat is my replacement for butter most of the time. I still need to do a little research on because some people say the coconut fat, coconut oil are not the best, but you know, I want to find that out. So, but a little bit, I feel like we'll be okay in this, and then it will melt, and then you can take your knife and excuse me, and kind of like swirl it around, and then it will make a nice pretty design. So that will be your soup. So you'll start with your salad, then your soup, the gnocchi's about to come out. I'll put these over here. And the soup can stay warm in the oven with the gnocchi. You can just turn the oven off and just let it be warm in there and keep everything in there until you're ready to serve the next course. Soup. All right, let's see. So yeah, 4 seconds. Good timing.
So you're just about an hour out from when you started, Sharon.
I
you were about a
know.
quarter after, a little after a quarter after. So I know you did some prep, but
Yeah. Okay, I want to take a course on like presenting food. You know, I'm an artist. I like to paint, but I will say I do have a little bit of struggle designing, you know, making my plates look beautiful. I think the Caesar salad came out well, though. I will say that. All right, so what I did with the pesto is I plopped down a layer. Oh, you can do a heart. Do like, bloop. Don't want to put too much actually, but then you'll take your gnocchi. And then you'll just place them on.
I think you're right, Sharon. I think plating is an art.
Yes. And the basil,
Station.
then do like another dollop, maybe. All right. And then usually the basil, fresh basil, will have like a cute little baby tip. You can just break that off and place it, you know, somewhere nice here. And there you go with the gnocchi.
Beautiful, Sharon.
Okay.
We're all salivating. I know I am.
Okay, last but not least.
Rescue, if we could get the address to rescue this dish and
It's East Bench area. I'll meet you on the corner. Okay.
oh, we're close.
Oh, great. All right, the love tart. Gonna go ahead and just, so it's cooled off quite a bit.
I love the rustic looking dessert.
I'm sorry?
I love the rustic looking desserts.
Yeah, okay. Of all things, I mean, I cook like crazy. I still don't have a pie cutter, so I'm gonna use my, let's see. I like this folded part here, so.
So while Sharon's cutting the pie, I'm going to mention, so Salt Lake Thrive, we have 2 upcoming events. I'm going to put them in the chat. So on Saturday, February 20th, starting at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we're going to have Dr. Kashuk Reddy. I've seen a couple of his videos. He's really great. And he's going to talk about how healthy plant-based nutrition and other lifestyle factors can help prevent and sometimes even reverse heart disease. It's really sad. I think heart disease, I think sometimes it and COVID is the #1 disease cause of death in the U.S., maybe Canada as well, because of our horrible, really bad diet. So that's another event, like I say, coming up on February 20th with Dr. Kashuk Reddy. He will answer your questions. He teaches at the VA in Tampa, Veterans Administration Hospital in Tampa. He gives classes, so he has his own nonprofit. So this is something he's very passionate about. So if you know, or if you know someone who's struggling with heart disease, so please feel free to share that. And then on Saturday, March 20th, we're going to have a Spring into Health and Fitness event. So we're going to have 2 plant-based doctors, Dr. Nikki Davis and Dr. Patrick Olson, and they're going to talk about plant-based health and advice and tips. And Sharon's going to be doing another demo for us. And then we're going to have a session on mindful meditation and stress reduction. And then we're going to have an owner of a CrossFit gym show us how to get in shape for spring. So that is coming up on March 20th. And so anyway, I'll put the link for the February 20th event in, and I'll send those links to you when I have them, when I send out the recording of this event. But yeah, so February 20th and March 20th, and please join us.
Okay, here we go. We've got the tart here. Beautiful tart. And this sauce smells amazing. You'll know when you make it. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's what she was talking about. It's that almond extract that just gives it this amazing flavor. So you'll just drizzle it on. Actually, I'm just gonna goop it on because it's, oh, so good. Maybe, let's see if I can get away with making a little design here, like little, what can I do? I don't know, little heart. Boop. There we go. Little heart. There's the heart with the tart.
So good.
Yay.
Yay.
It smells delicious.
That probably won't last long after we stop recording.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So there you have it, you guys. I really hope that, I mean, I know I've provided you with value. I really would love to hear about your dinners or see pictures. I don't know if Harriet can get a reply from you guys when she sends out the recipes, and then you guys can reply back. You're welcome. And
I put because both the Facebook link and also our email, Salt Lake Thrive.
okay, great.
Yeah, so I've had comments, Sharon. I've had some really positive comments, from folks who participate in our events. But yeah, so there's our email, saltlakethrive@gmail.com. If you have any follow-up questions from this event, and also would be interested in knowing, asked earlier, I don't know if everyone was in on the call or the event, what kinds of cooking event demos would you be interested in the future? We did one with 5 ingredients. So they're quick and easy. There's vegan cheese. There's vegan plant-based cookies and desserts. There are a lot of different, so many different topics. But it'd be interesting to get some feedback on the kinds of cooking classes or cooking demos y'all would be interested in seeing in the future.
Great.
Thank you, Sharon. That looks beautiful.
Dinner is served. Mwah.
Oh,
Anybody
boy,
have any questions?
Beautiful.
looks delicious.
Good.
Do you have teleportation for your recipes?
No, I don't. I'm so sorry.
But people are highly motivated to do this at home, Sharon.
Yes, I'm
Bring
so
other
happy.
people.
It's gonna be, look at the color, look at the rainbow of colors.
That looks great.
We have the YouTube channel. We have Sharon's other cooking demos on there. And like I say, we haven't discussed it, have we, Sharon, what you'll be doing on March 20th for our Spring into Fitness event, but you'll be,
we haven't.
we'll be doing some kind of, that'll be fun because we'll be getting spring and fresh produce, or maybe talk about gardening or what have you. So it's a good time of year, and I think people are ready to move on from winter. So we have we'll go for a few more minutes. Anyone last minute questions for Sharon or myself on Salt Lake Thrive before we go? And so once again, February is heart health, and so that's what we wanted to make a pretty darn healthy and heart healthy vegan Valentine's Day dinner, and we'll be following up on February 20th with Dr. Kashuk Reddy, and that's I know that's going to be a good event because I've seen 2 or 3 interviews with Dr. Reddy, and you know, it's the #1 cause of disease and death in the U.S. A really important topic we have coming up. Someone wants to know, is the pesto cold or warm?
The pesto is room temperature.
Okay.
I just want to give you a shout out, Harriet, from the, for putting this on, and Sharon for your great display of cooking, and the Plant Pure community does a great job of singing your praises, Harriet, for what a great job you do with this group.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's really, I really appreciate hearing that back, because, not being able to do in-person events, my goodness, a year, I think March of last year was the first online event. It's hard to get the same feedback sometimes when you're online and what have you. So no, I really appreciate that. So as long as people keep turning up for our events, we'll keep doing them and see how the year goes, but we'll, hopefully Sharon will continue to join us, but thank you so much. And I'm so glad everybody spent, gosh, an hour and a half with us tonight, Sharon.
Yeah. Yay. Thank you all for coming.
Well, thanks. I think, and some of you guys I've seen before, so we'll get a little online community going and kind of help and support, each other as we make our way through the rest of the winter and the rest of the year, and see how things unfold. So everybody stay safe and wash your hands and wear a mask and eat healthy food.
Gnocchi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a lovely and romantic and delicious Valentine's Day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Merci. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mwah, mwah.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Sharon.
Bye, Harriet.
Bye.
Mwah.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.